without a trace, but their defeat in 45. They all came out of the woodwork on the day the Nazi died. They say the prisoner of Spandau was a symbol of defeat, whilst Hess remained in prison and the fascists they would beat. So the promise of an Aryan world would never materialize. So why did they all come out of the woodwork on the day the Nazi died? The world is riddled with maggots, the maggots are getting fat. They're making a tasty meal of all the bosses and bureaucrats. They're taking over the boardrooms and they're fat and full of pride. And they all came out of the woodwork on the day the Nazi died. So if you meet with these historians, I'll tell you what to say. Tell them that the Nazis never really went away. They're out there burning houses down and peddling racist lies. And we'll never rest again until every Nazi dies.
Woke up one morning and there were soldiers. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Woke up one morning and there were soldiers. The invasion had begun. Lend me your shoulder, we'll stand together. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Lend me your shoulder, we'll stand together. But I feel my time has come, and if I die here for the resistance, oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. And if I die here for the resistance, you must lay me in my grave among the flowers upon the mountain. Oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Among the flowers upon the mountain, let me rest among the brave. Someday the people will pick the flowers. Oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Someday the people will pick the flowers, and they will remember my name. This is the flower of the resistance. Oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. This is the flower of the resistance, and those who died for liberty. This is the flower of the resistance. Oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. This is the flower of the resistance, and those who died for liberty. This is the flower of our resistance, and those who died for liberty.
Come all of you good workers, good news to you I'll tell, of how the good old Union has come in here to dwell.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
My daddy was a miner and I'm a miner's son, and I'll stick with the Union till every battle's won.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
They say in Harlan County there are no neutrals there. You'll either be a Union man or a thug for J.H. Blair.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Oh, workers, can you stand it? Oh, tell me how you can. Will you be a lousy scab or will you be a man?
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Don't scab for the bosses, don't listen to their lies. Us poor folks haven't got a chance unless we organize.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
I was born in the Dublin street where the boy drums do beat, and the lovely English people walked all over us. And every single night when they tell come home tight, he'd invite the neighbours out with his chorus. Come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders. Tell her how the IRA made you run like Galloway from the green and lovely lace of Killishandra. Tell us how you slew them old Arabs 2 by 2. Like the Zulus, they had knives, bows and arrows. Of how brave you faced one with your 16-pounder gun, and you frightened all the natives to the marrow. Come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders. Tell her how the IRA made you run like Galloway from the green and lovely lakes of Killishandra. Let us hear you tell how you stand a brave Parnell and taught them well and truly persecuted. Where are the stares and jeers that you proudly let us hear when our heroes of 16 were executed? Come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders. Tell her how the IRA made you run like Galloway from the green and lovely lakes of Killishandra.
Ding dong, the witch is dead. Witch all with the wicked witch. Ding dong, the wicked witch is dead. Ding dong, the witch is dead. Witch all with the wicked witch. Ding dong, the wicked witch is dead.
Oh, come out, you pretty sons, come out and fight without your guns. Show your wife how you won medals up in Derry. You murdered 16 men and you'll do the same again. So get out of here and take your bloody army. Come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders. Tell her how the IRA made you run like Galloway from the green and lovely lakes of Killishandra. Oh, come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders. Tell her how the IRA made you run like Galloway from the green and lovely lakes of Killishandra.
Buckingham Palace announced the death of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II.
Hello there, hello there, hello there, my beauties. How are we all? I hope you're very well. I am sensationally fucking well. God bless you all. A God I don't even fucking believe in. Good God. Anyway, how are we all doing? Are we well? What have you been up to? I know, I'm not even like 15 minutes late. Shut the fuck up. You should know, when you see my posting of, going live in 20 minutes or going live at the top of the hour, you should know that that's just a kind of suggestion. That's a kind of guesstimate. Nothing better, okay? Kev looking handsome today. Kev looks handsome every day, if you're blind. Yes, how are we all? Thank you, Mad Dog Scotty, with the 7-stream streak. I'm sure it's much more than that, but you've got, according to the fire emote, that's what it's telling me. Why does the stream? Why does Twitch insist on doing dumb shit like that? Well, I don't know. You know who's not in the Epstein files? Kev. True! That is true. But your chaos is both delightful and appreciated. I'm not sure it's always appreciated, and I'm certain it's not always delightful, but I appreciate your delightful, delicious appreciatedness. Wayward Historian. Can we get some love in chat for Wayward Historian? No, don't say fucking yet. No. The Kev is not. Okay, right. Even if you think I'm a fucking nonce, why would you? I've given you no reason to believe that in the slightest. But even if you think I am, I was during the lifetime of Jeffrey Epstein, I was neither rich enough or powerful enough or like well connected enough for him to bother with. Why would I have been invited to the island? Even if I were into that, which I'm definitely fucking not. Not just for legal reasons, I'm not. Rebecca Watson is in the file, so it's not all bad company. Yeah, but presumably that's Richard Dawkins being a minge, mentioning her or something. Why is she in the files? Well, you can rely on Jimmy Savile not to be in the files because he didn't need to go to the island. He already had his own pedo island. It was called Great Britain.
At this very moment, Britannia burns.
If only. Nah, I'm only joking. But in a metaphorical sense, yeah, we are burning. So more of that later. Thank you to Scribby for resubscribing 45 months. Much love to you. And thank you, Sozzled Snake, with 23 months. Is Jeremy Beadle in the list? Why would you be asking about him, I wonder? I don't know, is the actual answer. I don't fucking know. But why would you be asking specifically about a very niche 1980s and 90s TV presenter with a withered hand? I wonder. Disgusting. Thank you to Spectral Wolves for 2 gifted subs. Appropriate number usage. Yes, we're on a hype train. If we get to the next level of the hype train, I will finger Jeffrey Epstein. Fuck it, I will finger the corpse of Jeffrey Epstein. It seems only appropriate, given what we're going to be talking about. So yeah, I mean, to be fair, do we need a I don't think we need a content warning for that, even though technically it's talking about Jeffrey Epstein. It's not really talking about Jeffrey Epstein. It's talking about the political fallout from the most recent tranche of documents and stuff. So I don't think we need a thing on that. That's fine. I could be wrong though. I don't know. Thank you, Mad Cat Scotty Eye, for 5 gifted subs. Much love to you. I hope you're clearly doing well financially, because I've specifically said only give money that you can afford to give. So presumably you are now crazy rich. I know you're Scottish, but do you own the oil personally? I don't know how that works, in all honesty, but yeah, but thank you. And thank you, Dr. Phil Decker, for giving a community sub to Faisal. Much love to you. Yes, we're still on the hype train, so if you want to make that go choo-choo even harder, you can. Yes, and thank you, not doctor. Well, you might be a doctor, but it's not in your name, so I'm not going to affix that particular title to you. Carl Brown with 5 gifted memberships on YouTube. Much love to you, Carl. Yes, I turned the alert box off, didn't I? I'll turn it back on, but then I'll instantly turn it back off because we've got some serious stuff to talk about at the top. Not crazy rich, but got my benefit today, so I've spare funds to spare. If you're on benefits, you probably oughtn't give me money, I think. Because I can go and get a job. So, like, yeah. I mean, maybe you're on, like, maybe you are the mythical person who earns billions from the benefit system. Do you have 10 widescreen TVs in a Ferrari? Maybe you do. I don't know. Yeah, but anyway, thank you. I appreciate that. Right. Yes. So, I mean, if you wanted to help me out in the various ways, you can do so. If you're on twitch.tv/KFLogan1875, you can hit the follow button if you're new here. Or even if you're not new here, but you haven't hit the follow button before. It's literally free. It's fucking free, you cunt. I said to myself, literally the other day, I said to myself, we need to stop insulting the viewers. Because, like, regulars get the joke, but new people might not. New people might think I've just called you a cunt for not having done the thing that you're not, like, legally required to do anyway. Well, bang goes that. Not a fucking chance. Not a chance. Why is my face that red? Did I not white balance the fucking thing? Or have I got, like, fucking... I did white balance it, so apparently I'm just that red today. Hang on. Can we press the... Yeah, look at that. Fuck me. Am I that warm? I don't feel that warm. Am I dying? I might be dying. I don't know. Anyway, whether or not you're a cunt, you are allowed to subscribe or to follow. It's free. You can subscribe as well for $5 or something. I don't know. You can gift subs to the community. You can do super chats, 200 bits or more. Sorry, you can do bits messages. 200 bits or more will get you a text to speech when I turn the thing back on after we've done the serious bit. So in about an hour. Yes, you can do super chats as well by the Streamlabs link below. $2 or more there gets you a text to speech again after we've done the thing. I've got Patreon and PayPal. I've got YouTube, Blue Sky, TikTok, Instagram, and Threads. Some of which I occasionally use, some of which I never use, but do plan to use, but will probably never use. Just being honest with you there. If you're on YouTube, hello YouTube, how are you? You can subscribe for now. You can hit the bell icon to get notifications, maybe, of when I go live or post a video, which I might post tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see how well the segment bit goes. Oh, pardon me. Did a little burpee. You can also thumb the video up. It's free. You can become a member for 99p. You can give membership to the community at that same price. And you can do super chats and or super thanks. Which is a thing you have to work out. I don't know how to do that, but you can do that if you want to. Much love. Anyway, I thought we'd start. Thank you, Lauren Phillips HD, for following, which is a name I recognise from chat. So, are you a person who was here before and has subscribed now that or hit the follow button now that I've called you a cunt? Is that how that works? I don't know. But God bless you. Yes. Anyway, welcome to the Kevolution. Did you hear about the new Flintstones film? Apparently people in UAE don't like it, but the people in Abu Dhabi do. Do I have a booing emote? No.
It's a fucking disgrace.
I thought there was a new fucking Flintstones movie. And I was going to be like, I didn't even know there was a fucking Flintstones movie. Totally got me. It's a joke older than me, I think, basically, at this point, right? But I did get totally baited into it. I got debated by chat. I'm just going to hold my hands up. You know what? In many respects, the booing should be for me. For having fallen for it. I gave chat too much fucking credit. Far more credit than they deserve.
Epic dub.
John Goodman played Fred Flintstone. Well, that is true. I remember that. I remember that film as a child. Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for the hype train. Much love. The hype chest. Let's open that. Shy Ghost. We got this, apparently. Shy Ghost emote. Which, for some reason... Did you see that tiny sliver of a ghost? For some reason... I don't know why. What the fuck is it even called? the emote wall, for some reason, cut the most of the... Yeah, there you go. That's what it's supposed to look like. You see it on the screen there? But I don't know why I'm pointing to it. Oh, fucks. Anyway. But for some reason, it chopped like 95% of it off when I did it. It looks like sperm. Not really. I don't think so. I don't think so. Also, how the fuck is that a shy ghost? It's fucking headbanging. It doesn't look like a sperm shop. Unless you think all ghosts look like sperm. In which case I ghosted all over your mum's face. Oh! Was Rick Moranis in it too? He was. He was... Hang on. Was Rick Moranis Barney? Have I misremembered that? We won't be having any more of the Beadle abuse. Okay. Moranis was Barney. There you go. Was that before he like retired and then came back very recently? I think. Rosie O'Donnell was Betty. Oh my god. Memories. Memories. Thank you, Kieran. Kieran Kinsella. Note the correct pronunciation of that surname, English people. For subscribing on... for becoming a member on YouTube. Or remembering. I don't know. What is it? But apparently that's a new one. Okay. I don't know. Yeah. Halle Berry was in it. Yes, she was the assistant to Barney. No, to Fred Flintstone when he got hired when he got promoted in the thing. Anyway, let's not go through a movie from like 1994, Kev. Jesus Christ. Although on that point, I did watch Independence Day the other day again because of course it's on like every 5 minutes here in the UK on one of the billions of fucking channels. And I watched it again. Greatest movie ever. In that it's the shittest movie ever. It's either the greatest shit movie ever or the shittest great movie ever. Whichever one you fancy. Literally, it's got so many... It's so many great lines in it. By which I mean the worst lines ever written. Oh, amazing stuff. The B-52s did do the song for that, yeah. Not for Independence Day. Very different movies. No, they did the song Love Shack. It's a funky old place where we can get together. Love Shack baby. Love Shack baby. Anyway, as I was saying, serious bits. Right, so I wanted to do a kind of a new thing where, like, you know, I'm a fan of history, and I thought we'd do like a kind of working class history type thing, but I don't want to call it that because that would be a rip-off of Working Class History, which you should all follow, by the way. It's a website and it's got a podcast, a very, very good podcast. So I don't want to call it that because that would just be me ripping off their name, even though what else do you call it? I don't know. Anyway, yeah. Where we could do a kind of on this day working class history type thing, which, by the way, the working class history podcast thing, its tagline is "Kings and Queens don't make history, we do," and that's such a perfect fucking, it's such a perfect thing. If I could get that very concept into people's heads, like that's for me, that yeah. Oh, podcast, yes, okay. But like they do an actually good podcast, so it doesn't the joke doesn't apply. Anyway. Yeah, if I could just get through the idea into people's heads that kings and queens and presidents and fucking parliaments and all these people, they don't make history, we do. Okay? Human beings. Don't think, what can the Prime Minister do? What can the President do? What can fucking anything? You know, what do these great men of history? What can they do? No, what can we fucking do? What can we do? We hold the power. It's about time we fucking used it. But kings and queens do make way. Fine, yes, that's true. But, like, the great man theory of history doesn't work. Because if a king says, army, march to this place and burn down this village. What about if they say no? Well, if they say fucking no and kill him and take over and institute a people's fucking republic or some shit. The only reason that the history gets made is because thousands of people agree to follow what this cunt says. It's not him making the history. It's the people that go and do the thing that make the history. If a government institutes a policy, like healthcare reform, the history isn't in the thing that's being, the decision that's made. It's the fact that nurses and doctors and fucking surgeons and cleaners and transport, logistic people implement it. That's what makes the history. The power resides in the working class to do these things. Both for good and for bad. And for neutral. It's about time we fucking realise that shit. Anyway, so, working class history, or whatever the fuck it is, we'll come up with a name at some other point. We haven't got an intro or anything, so it doesn't matter. Yes. And so I'm going to take it from working class history themselves. Boom. A very sad story, albeit a sacrifice worth remembering. Remembering, even. On this day, the 3rd of February in 1972, 37-year-old striking miner Fred Matthews was crushed under the wheels of a scab lorry while he was picketing outside of Keadby power station in Lincolnshire, England. Miners were on their first national strike since 1926. By the way, it is a century since the last general strike, which I'll get into more as the year progresses, in support of a pay claim. Freddie's brother Jimmy says, quote, I said this on the day, and I say it now. I believe Freddie was murdered by the police, unquote. Not a surprise. The police are oft want to kill the working class. The police were the ones often using violence to allow scabs through picket lines. Thousands of people attended his funeral. The strikers held out and won their pay increases. So that's fucking... Look, they got what they wanted in the end. In fact, they got what they needed, not what they wanted. A pay claim is not just a nice suggestion. It's what people need to survive. At the very least. So good for them. Sadly, a decade later, they would not be as successful. And we are living with the fucking consequences of the Thatcher government's success in the miners' strike. But, yes, rest in power, Freddie Matthews, who's been dead now, what, 54 years? Jesus Christ. Could very well have still been alive had the police not murdered him. But it's good that he's not forgotten. Rest in power. Anyway, as I said, if I could get the idea into people's heads that, they are the ones with the power and not the kings and queens and presidents and prime ministers of this world, that would be awesome. But sadly, we don't live in that world. And so we must return to the godforsaken hellscape that is modernity. Now, this story, dear chat, is amazing. Genuinely breathtaking nonsense. And nonsense is probably the right way of describing it, because it's involving the Epstein story. But it's not even so much just the pederastic criminality of the Epstein orbit that is to do with this story. It's amazing. And genuinely, this story, I think, could bring down the British government. I'm not saying that just because I want it to be the case. The wish is not, in this case, the father of the thought. This is genuinely my analysis of this. I think this could actually bring down Keir Starmer's government. That's not to say that Labour won't replace him with somebody else and form another government. That's perfectly possible. But I think Keir Starmer could end up not being Prime Minister in 2 weeks because of this and the ramifications of it. So, as we all know, Jeffrey Epstein was a child rapist, a sex trafficker, a honeypot lunatic for maybe Israel. Certainly seems that way when he's doing smiling, laughing, wink, wink emotes about how they're definitely not Mossad agents, honest, wink, wink, with former fucking Prime Minister of Israel. Yeah, I think that's what was happening there. He was a Mossad agent who was honeypotting rich and powerful people for, at least in part, the benefit of Israel, but also for the financial benefit of Jeffrey Epstein and his rich friends. So, there's that, right? Everyone's sort of aware of that bit of the story. Then comes yet another tranche, to use the French pronunciation, or trench, of new Epstein-related documents, which was that last Friday, I think? Which obviously has had ramifications all over the world. We're now seeing kind of prosecutions and investigations into all kinds of people on various continents. Unfortunately, the most powerful man in the world, Donald Trump, and the richest man in the world, Elon Musk, both are hugely involved in this. They're not under investigation, at least at time of recording. We'll wait and see if anything develops there. But on this side of the Atlantic, Jeffrey Epstein's yum-yum friend, that's yum-yum was the description used by Peter Mandelson to the sex offender, Jeffrey Epstein, yes. Vomit emotes in chat. Is there a vomit emote? I don't know. Anyway, right. So not only was Peter Mandelson deeply involved with Jeffrey Epstein, for legal reasons we have to say he has not been found guilty of anything yet. And there is no evidence that definitely proves that he was involved in any kind of sexual abuse of anybody when he repeatedly contacted and stayed with Jeffrey Epstein. Sometimes he also contacted and stayed with him after he had been convicted and served a sentence for child rape and sex trafficking. But there's no evidence that concretely proves that he did anything sex crimey with Jeffrey Epstein. That's the legal thing that I have to say to cover myself legally. I will allow you, dear chat, to make your own mind up as to whether you think that he might have engaged in sex crimes when he repeatedly stayed with convicted sex criminal Jeffrey Epstein. That's up to you. I'm not suggesting that. I'm allowing you to come to your own conclusions. Anyway, what we do know from these recently released documents is that he received tens of thousands of pounds, which is tens more thousands of dollars US if you're an Americano, if you want to use the exchange rate. Possibly 70,000 plus pounds, which is about 100,000 US dollars, in various repeated 10,000, 15,000 pound handouts from Jeffrey Epstein to both Peter Mandelson and his then partner. So that's a thing. We also know that Jeffrey Epstein was in contact with Peter Mandelson after he was convicted during his prison sentence, and Peter Mandelson said he would campaign on behalf of Jeffrey Epstein for his early release after having been sent tens of thousands of pounds. Again, those two things could be completely separate. I'm not suggesting he was paid by Jeffrey Epstein to do that. These could be two completely different transactions of both finance and services. I don't know. I will allow the investigation that you see on screen to do its thing. You know, we'll allow the justice system to do its thing. Because, you know, the police are so fucking good at this.
Fuck the police.
Anyway. Police investigate Mandelson over claims he leaked information to Epstein. Yes, this is in regard to a 2009 story, which or 2009 email, in which it is shown that Peter Mandelson, the then business secretary, because this was under the Gordon Brown government, that he was then business secretary, and sent market-sensitive, confidential documents against the will of the British government to Jeffrey Epstein. It's in regards to the fact that the British government was looking at possibly putting a cap and or tax on the bonuses of bankers, because this was just after the massive financial crash, 2008. And so the government were under a lot of pressure to do something to try and, rein in the bankers. And so they put out this idea that maybe they'd do this. Peter Mandelson, being a friend of the rich and powerful, including Jeffrey Epstein, noted sex criminal, was against this. And so he sent, against the will of the British government, documentation that he was not supposed to send to a foreign national. The Metropolitan Police has launched a criminal investigation into Peter Mandelson over allegations of misconduct in public office. Now, tell me, dear chat, how the fuck it can only be misconduct in public office and not espionage? Or even fucking treason? Like, think about that. Fucking think. He sent information that was fucking confidential, the British government specifically didn't want to be sent anywhere, to a foreign national. That's spying. That's espionage. That's not just misconduct. Misconduct would be having an affair on, a public time or something, or having an affair whilst on a business trip that was being paid for by the public, or something like that. Misappropriation of funds. No, this is spying. This is fucking spying. This is espionage. Think for a second, if he'd sent that to a Russian, what the conversation would be here. We'd definitely be talking about treason. But for some reason, because it's an American from our own geopolitical bloc, apparently it's just fucking fine. It's ludicrous. This is from the same fucking party that wouldn't even... by the way, it's possible that the UK government already knew about this at the time that they sent him to be the ambassador in America. Because you remember a few months ago, he had to resign because of the then latest release of leaked documents from the Epstein case, right? Which showed that he was a lot friendlier for a lot longer after he was convicted of sex crimes with Jeffrey Epstein. And had to resign. Wasn't sacked, had to resign as the ambassador to America. So, it's very possible, we'll find out tomorrow, possibly, that the British government knew that he had sent sensitive information, classified information, against the will of the British government to an American citizen and then made him the ambassador to the United States. This is the same Peter Mandelson, by the way, who said he felt dirty staying in Jeremy Corbyn's Labour Party. Didn't feel dirty staying with a convicted paedophile, though. He was fine with that. Amazing. Genuinely amazing. So that's basically this story, right? But it gets better, chat. It gets better. Oh, yes. Gordon Brown, who was Prime Minister at the time, and who had a very, very serious, at least personal, if not necessarily very political, disagreement with Tony Blair. In fact, the whole of the 2000s was taken up with Blair versus Brown. There was Blairism and Brownism. Tony Blair was the Prime Minister, Gordon Brown was the Chancellor of the Exchequer, who then became Prime Minister after Tony Blair. They'd done a deal in the mid-90s where Tony Blair would be Prime Minister and then Gordon Brown would take over afterwards. And so the constant tension during that entire decade was Blair versus Brown. Peter Mandelson very much was on Blair's side. He was the arch-Blairite. The man who said he had no problem with people being filthy rich in the supposedly Democratic Socialist Party. Fun times. Anyway, he obviously stabbed Gordon Brown in the back many times. And Gordon Brown, years later, has had an opportunity to clap back. And he has. It has been revealed that Gordon Brown, former Prime Minister and Chancellor of the Exchequer, has written to the Metropolitan Police with information relevant to Peter Mandelson's alleged leaking of confidential information. The Blair versus Brown rivalry, decades later. This fucking this rivalry has been going on for 30 fucking years, and it's still rumbling. Motherfuckers are going to be in the grave still fighting. Blair resigned in 2007 and it's still going. How? Absolutely brilliant. I mean, honestly, it's nice when you think like there's no way you can get your own back anymore, like it's gone. And then all of a sudden, the most delicious opportunity comes to fuck over one of your enemies. And you know this cunt's got receipts. Let's fucking go. Oh, that's, by the way, not to co-sign Gordon Brown, who, as Chancellor of the Exchequer, paid for the British government's involvement in the illegal war that was Iraq, amongst other things. Anyway, now, you're thinking to yourself, chat, can it get any better than that? It can. Because not only may the government have known that he was essentially a spy on behalf of a foreign citizen and then sent him to be the ambassador to the country of that citizen, which, by the way, might make them guilty of treason as well, by the way. Just a crazy little one. Not only was that all bad, you would think that now they'd be really backtracking as hard as they possibly could to try and look as squeaky clean as they can. Try and make it look like they're, oh, we were against the non-Syrian fucking treason all along. You would think. And certainly in terms of some of their public announcements or pronouncements, ministers that have gone before the TV, they've had to try and say this. Keir Starmer came out and said that he called on Peter Mandelson to resign from the House of Lords, because he'd already resigned from the Labour Party, which, by the way, means that the friend of Jeffrey Epstein, the yum-yum friend of Jeffrey Epstein, has a better morality around being friends with Jeffrey Epstein than the current British government does. Because the current British government didn't remove him from the Labour Party. They'll remove you for being against genocide, definitely. They'll remove you from the party for being against austerity. Oh, definitely. They'll remove you if you criticise Keir fucking Starmer. They'll remove you. But not if you're yum-yum friends with a convicted child sex predator and international child sex trafficker. So he'd already resigned from the Labour Party, but Keir Starmer came out and called for him to resign from the House of Lords. Now, Keir Starmer could have introduced legislation that would have reformed the House of Lords, as he said he was going to. He literally said he was going to scrap the House of Lords. Didn't do that, obviously. Another campaign promise broken. Crazy, I know. It's like he breaks every promise he ever makes ever, including the vow to his wife on his wedding day. Just saying. We haven't forgotten about that arson attack against you, Prime Minister. The media have, but we haven't. Anyway. Yes. He could have done that. Didn't do that. Didn't fucking do that at all. So he has the power and a massive majority at time of recording, because again this could bring him down, to introduce that legislation. Didn't do that. Peter Mandelson has now himself resigned from the House of Lords, which is, you know, better than it was before, because now he's not going to be voting on our legislation, so that's good, that's positive. But it also means that we're having to rely on the morality and ethics of serious criminals, allegedly, to do the right thing, rather than the British government, or indeed the British Parliament, having the right to remove people from its midst. Which is pretty fucking corrupt. Just saying. Just saying. The ethics of people who are very, very okay with convicted child sex predators. I don't think we should have to rely on that for our membership of Parliament. Just saying. Anyway, you would think, like I say, you would think the government would be doing everything it could to try and appear squeaky clean. Except there is a vote in Parliament tomorrow. Which is not unusual, it's Parliament. They vote on things. But it's a vote specifically called by the Conservative Party, who are the official opposition, again at time of recording, to release to release and have full disclosure of government documents related to Peter Mandelson in this regard. Because clearly it's of public interest, and it's not sensitive anymore because he's not the ambassador. So there is literally no legal reason that you can't release this information. So they've called on the government to do this. And the government are currently whipping their MPs to vote against that. That's right, the government that apparently want to appear innocent of all of this want their own MPs to vote for a complete cover-up of documentation that would apparently prove them innocent. Curious. Can you think of any other incidences where people have the evidence that they're innocent and decide not to show you that evidence? But it gets better, chat, because as you can read there on screen, according to Sam Coates of Sky News, now it is Sky News, but Sam Coates is a very well connected figure. He's a very well-known figure in Westminster. I'm going to trust him on this. I think he's correct. Labour MPs are set to rebel and vote in favour of a Conservative motion mandating the disclosure of government documents related to Peter Mandelson. Okay. Just imagine this for a second, chat. What could happen tomorrow, and if I put this up on YouTube, it'll probably be after the vote happens, so who knows, it might not happen. But what could happen tomorrow is that a government with a majority of over 100, right, could lose a vote that they had whipped their MPs to vote against to reveal information about a series of documents regarding a former Labour minister and former Labour ambassador to the United States that they claim they are innocent of, and therefore these documents would clear them of any accusations that they knew about the potential espionage of the person they then sent to the country that he was being an espionage spy on behalf of. I don't think I've ever seen anything as fucking crazy as that. I don't think I've seen anything as crazy as that. Every element of that story is so fucking mental that this government should resign just for, like, ripping a hole in the space-time continuum of reality. Because it doesn't make any fucking sense. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And you know who also benefits from all of this, unfortunately, is Prince Andrew. Sorry, former Prince Andrew. Saxe-Coburg, Gotha, Windsor, fucking... whatever, cuntbag, pedo man. Yeah, I'm gonna fucking call it. You can fucking take me to court, Andy. You're a nonce, mate. You fucking are. Everyone knows it. Go to America and be convicted, you cunt. Right? Because no one's talking about him anymore. Even though it was revealed in this same set of fucking documentation, photos of him doing the noncery. Several people have come forward one of whom is now suspiciously dead. Interesting. It's interesting that when someone becomes a political or inconvenience to the royal family, they end up dead. Surprising how that always fucking happens, isn't it? Anyway, multiple people have come forward to say that they were sex trafficked as minors to the UK to be raped by Prince Andrew. We'll wait and see whether he's under investigation at any point. I do fucking hope so. So anyway, if anyone was wondering how normal Ireland was going, it's going very fucking normal. It couldn't be more normal right now. Honestly, the normalness is off the fucking charts. Anyway. I needed to get that out of my system, chat. I had so many things I needed to say. I hope that wasn't too rambly. I don't know how long that went on for. I wasn't looking at the time. But whatever, I needed to say some things. Following that story during the course of the day has been just fucking earth-shatteringly mental. Honestly, this government could fucking fall tomorrow. Remarkable. Absolutely fucking remarkable. Oh. It's fake but funny. What's this? Well, I mean, this I'm being told this is a fake picture. But what isn't fake is that in the actual the trench of documents that were released, it was revealed that then treasurer of the Reform Party, Nigel Farage's party, was emailed by Ghislaine Maxwell's PA saying that Ghislaine Maxwell was very disappointed in them, that they'd gone to New York and not told her that that was the case, because she wanted to meet up and have dinner, showing that there was a pre-existing relationship between the then treasurer of the Reform Party and Ghislaine Maxwell, the person who did a lot of the trafficking for Jeffrey Epstein. Just saying. Seriously, it makes the Profumo affair look like a drop in the ocean. It makes virtually... Right, if we say pre-1990, right? Every scandal pre-1990 was nothing. Literally fucking nothing compared to the stuff we have today and that the people just get away with. Now, that could be because pre-1990 there wasn't the kind of disclosure that we now have. Not everyone had cameras. Not everyone had fucking, the ability to film everything with a device in their pockets, etc., etc. Very easy to cover things up in the past. Maybe there was a fucking Epstein-like sex ring that existed during the government of Ted Heath or fucking Harold Macmillan. I don't know. I have no idea. That is Farage, but it's a fake picture, so don't worry. But like I say, there are real connections between the Reform Party and at least Ghislaine Maxwell. Again, Ted Heath, there were rumours, but okay. The Ted Heath story is bollocks, though. Just to, put it out there, okay? The person who made the allegations against Ted Heath was shown to be a repeated liar, a fraudster, who made it up. So, it's perfectly possible that Ted Heath was a nonce, but we have no evidence to suggest that. No evidence that's at all, credible. We have the say-so of one essentially delusional bullshitter, a pathological liar. Yeah. Well, Maggie Thatcher definitely did know about noncery that she did nothing about. There's no way she didn't know about Jimmy Savile, and yet she was very good friends with Jimmy Savile. Was happy to do photo shoots and press conferences and things with Jimmy Savile when he was a nonce. So, Cyril Smith, etc. Exactly, yeah. Was Ted Heath gay? Well, there were rumours that he was gay. He was certainly a bachelor. I think he's he the last bachelor to ever be Prime Minister, I think. Unless I'm missing somebody. Anyway, there were rumours that he was gay, but Ted and Edward, the twins who were Prime Minister. What? No, there's only one. No. Ted and Edward are the same person. It's the same name. What? Are you doing a joke there? I don't know. Anyway, the royal guy who got blown up on a boat. Do you mean oh, what was his fucking name? Can't remember. No. Anyway, Mountbatten. That was him. Mountbatten. Yes. He was Edward as well, wasn't he? But he wasn't Prime Minister. Anyway, he was royal. I don't think he could have been Prime Minister. No. Anyway, that's by the by. Moving on from noncery to just a general twattery. Someone sent me this. I was going to do the video about Roman Abramovich. We'll do that another day. Because that's not time sensitive as such. That's about history, really, I suppose. Yes. So, staying Britbonger side of the Atlantic. How did Britbong become a thing to mean British people? Why is that a thing? I don't know. Anyway. I don't know why I said that like it annoys me. It doesn't. It's fine. Where are we? Here we go. Right. A person we have not checked in with for quite some time. Get your emotes ready. Briefcase-areno time! Oh, yes. It's the bowler hat briefcase. Let's fucking go. By-election delusion. Greens claim a race that doesn't exist. Now, that could mean a race as in the race to be elected, or like an ethnic thing. I don't know. I haven't seen this. No pre-watch or prom. Why has my camera gone wonky as shit? Why is that? Why has that happened? I don't know. The camera's just fucking gone mental. What the fuck is it doing? You know what? Fuck it. It's just going to be a jaunty angle, so I look like even less professional than I fucking usually do. Right. Briefcase-areno. Let's fucking go.
So, this is annoying me beyond all words.
Good. Good. I'm glad. I'm happy. Oh. He looks like a Batman villain. Does he? What the fuck Batman films have you been watching? He doesn't look anything like a fucking... He looks like a middle-aged Yorkshireman. What are you talking about? Eggman. It's actually pronounced Eggman. Thank you.
Really, really is. Just before Christmas, I got a green campaign leaflet.
Oh, well, I'm already loving that. Oh, there actually is a villain called Eggman. Okay. I didn't know that. Was that during the comic series where they gave up fucking trying? Oh, let's just choose a random thing. Eggman. Fuck it. That is a good fucking freeze frame, by the way. He looks absolutely demented. Yeah. Mountbatten also very responsible for the partition of India, which means he's got the blood of millions of people on his hands. Well done. Oh no! No! The one person I didn't want to be fucking... I didn't want in the Epstein files. No! My childhood is dead. My childhood is dead. Blobby's gonna get your slaps different now. True.
Through my letterbox.
I
And
forgot Blobby's gonna get you. No. That is spectacularly creepy with that picture up on the screen. Hang on a minute. Hang on. Oh. Where is it? What? Mr. Blobby music video. He's fucking up. He's not the same as you and me. Look at him. Look at him. Look into his cold, dead eyes.
on it was this 3D representation of a graph saying that, oh, the Reform vote has increased here and the Labour vote has...
Clip this for the out of context compilation. Me dancing to Blobby. Oh no. How? I'm not sure it is out of context. I did that to myself.
It's fallen and only the Greens can now win in this seat. The Greens came nowhere close at all. Let me just remind you of that. The Greens came nowhere close at all.
Okay, so that's in the last general election. Do you think the polling has changed slightly? Like, oh, the camera's going. Yeah. Hang on a minute. We'll just turn the fucking camera off. Fuck's sake. Why is it doing that? Fuck it, that'll do, I think. Anyway, do you think the polling's changed at all in the last 2 years? Maybe. It's no, it's not drunk. The fucking stabilizer thing, one of the legs is fucking dodgy on it. Anyway, oh, James Holmes, thank you. This was the first record I bought. The shame. Oh no. Do you know what the first record I bought was? Hang on, I'll turn the alert box back on as well. Okay, this is definitely getting copyrighted to fuck, but I don't even care at this point. I bought a Foreigners record. Swedish, no less. Is he going to play? Also shows how fucking old I am. I can't remember the words. I saw the sign. You opened up my eyes, I saw the sign. Demanding without understanding. I saw the sign. Living in the land where you belong. The land where you belong. I can't get that high. Not without heroin.
Last time. And it is coming across.
Did the YouTube go down for copyright? Because that's mental. If showing a BBC thing gets you done for copyright, but not showing like a number one from the 90s, like without any commentary, I wasn't even singing along for most of it. Unbelievable. Fuck YouTube.
And I generally see this. This is seriously coming across that they are going to be running, certainly in the Galton and the by-election that's coming up in Manchester at the end of this month, and of course in the local elections, they seem to be running a campaign purely based on the fact of we don't really want to win. We just want to make Labour lose.
No, Labour are making sure that Labour lose. You've literally blocked the one person who could win. Fucking dick. Is that Eggman? Also, not only is that Eggman, is that Vincent Price as Eggman? What in the name of fuck is that? Also, what was his, like, superpower or whatever? Gently boiling in 2 minutes. What? You have been demonetized. I was always... literally, every video I put up is instantly demonetized. So I don't give a fuck. Or put on limited or no adverts, which is basically the same fucking thing. Love a bottle of brandless Coke. Well, it did have a brand on it, but I took it off because no free advertising on this fucking channel, mate. He provides an egg in a trying time. Fair enough. Fair enough, yeah. You can tell how seriously I'm taking Bowler Hat Man now, because we've had 2 diversions in 1 minute and 20 seconds. So in 80 seconds, one distraction every 40 fucking seconds. One for Ace of Base, I Saw the Sign, a song from 1993 or whatever the fuck it was, right? And then one about fucking Eggman, a thing I didn't even know existed 2 minutes ago. So I'm really taking him to heart now. This criticism is so cutting to me. I'm taking it very, very seriously. Fucking minge. Where are we? See the pinned comment. What we got? There isn't a fucking... Oh yeah, there is. Sorry. I was looking at the wrong fucking thing. Thames Valley Police has said it is assessing the information after the BBC reported a second woman alleged that she was sent to the UK by Jeffrey Epstein for a sexual encounter with Andrew Mountbatten. Sorry, Mountbatten Windsor. Read the latest. Well, good. I hope something happens with this. Yeah. The encounter allegedly occurred at the former prince's residence, Royal Lodge, in 2010. So that how many years after his fucking... How many years after Jeffrey Epstein's prosecution is that? Because he'd been prosecuted and been released by that point. So we're talking years after he was... The woman, who is not British, was in her 20s at the time.
Sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit.
Bizarrely, the fact that she was in her 20s...
First album I bought was MJ's Dangerous. Cool kid, cool face emoji.
That was presumably sent a couple of minutes ago before we started talking. Because, like, saying that it was you were a cool kid for buying Michael Jackson a record when we're talking about a different nonce. I mean, thank you for the £2, but, like, he was prosecuted in 2008, so we're talking 2 years after he was prosecuted. So 2 years after he was, like, undeniably a nonce, he was still in contact with him and having a 20-year-old or 20s-year-old at the time. Which, like, isn't that too old for him? Like, that's the least believable part of this story, is that she was in her 20s. Because, like, if there's grass on the wicket, Andy ain't playing. Okay? Just saying. He has yet to respond to the allegations. Sorry, accusations, I should say. Okay, well, there you go. Bowler Hat Man looks like Casper the Ghost. I think that's just a lighting issue. Or are you on about the cherubim nature, the shape, the cherubim morphology of his skull? Do we have to get the calipers out on this one? I don't know.
To which I have said many times before, because this is how it is seriously coming across, and we'll do some stuff in a moment that sort of backs this up. I really do feel we could end up with a reform council that could really damage the incredible work that has been done, you know, by this.
Okay, but why not be not shit, and then you wouldn't have a reform council? Just saying. What in the name of fuck is that? Is that real? That's got to be Photoshop, because that's too well defined to be real, surely. The beer keller. With a picture of Keir Starmer on the top of a pint of... Is that Guinness? Oh, that is very offensive. That is offensive. On every possible level. Drinking this blinds you to elite sex crime. Why did they write beer killer? No, it's beer keller, which means beer cellar in German. Because that's beer keller. Yeah. Anyway.
This Labour Council in the town for the past couple of years, that could just pretty much end overnight. Or you...
Why is that? Hang on, no, Bowler Hat Man. Have you analysed why that would be? Why would a place that has consistently voted for Labour not vote for Labour now? What is it about the current Labour Party that means that a city that is rock solid Labour might end up not voting for Labour anymore? Have Labour changed or done bad things that might force people who usually would vote for them to never vote for them again? Or is it the Green Party for some reason? It's Zach Polanski that's to blame. It's not Sir Keith. Praise be upon him. The fuck are you talking about, man?
You could end up with a reform council, and we've covered some of the chaos and the disasters and the incompetence that they've been expelling since last May.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe the Labour Party should be less shit, and then you wouldn't need to worry about Manchester voting for the Reform Party, because they'd just carry on voting for Labour, because Labour wouldn't be shit. But the thing is, Labour are shit, so previous Labour voters don't want to vote for them anymore. That's on you. Not you personally, although you're a part of the Labour Party, so a little bit, but like a tiny, tiny bit. It's Keir Starmer and Morgan McSweeney who have made the most right-wing Labour Party that have ever existed, which means that most of the people who don't want to vote for a right-wing party won't. People who want to vote Labour are generally progressive people. People centre-left to left. Those are the people that might or could vote for Labour, and the Labour Party has positioned itself very much to the right of those people. That's the problem. Not Zach Polanski and the Green Party. If you lose, that's because you're shit. Stop blaming other fucking people. Take some responsibility for your shit party being shit. Oh yeah, we should point out as well, Morgan McSweeney, the guy who's taken them so far right, was the protege of Peter Mandelson, the yum-yum friend. The yum-yum friend of the pedo. Technically, he hasn't been found guilty of pedoing himself, at time of recording. But he was protege of him, yeah. You know the guy who sent classified information to a foreign citizen? Did a bit of cheeky espionage? You know. That guy.
But it is coming across like this. And they are running, from what we can see here, with no information, making up numbers, putting out dodgy statistics which don't...
Look, motherfucker. The Labour Party took that poll of 150 people, which, by the way, was paid for by a company of Labour donors, so obviously a piece of shit, and put that out there as if that were true. You don't get to fucking go on about producing dodgy figures. Especially when one of your dodgy figures has just had to resign from the fucking Lords, you cunts. See what I did there? I used the word figure in 2 different ways. I'm so fucking clever!
Back them up. For a party that's all meant to be about, you know, honesty and integrity. Sorry, I've got to get my running...
Comrie, you bastard! Why does it feel like I'm watching Thumb Wars with special guest Kev? Also, look at that fucking freeze frame. That's a belter. The lower half of his face looks like it's from a different human. The perspective is all wrong. The lower half of his face looks like it's a foot closer to the camera. That's fucking mental. Jesus Christ. That's really weird, man. I know it's just like a camera thing or whatever, but like, fucking hell. Oh, is he having a wank? I don't think so. I don't think so. Oh. As in, you're not a thumb, Kev. Oh, sorry, I thought you meant me and him were both thumbs, therefore thumb war. I thought that was the reference you were making, which would have been funny. I was happy. Like, I did the fake, like, you bastard, but like, I thought that was fucking funny. Oh, it's a great Shrek impression. It is. Donkey!
Shoes on, you know, all about honesty and integrity, and, you know, we've got to be, you know, real.
Why are you running? Or like running in place? Why are you doing that?
Politicians and real people. Seems you're being a bit disingenuous when it comes to, you know, some actual data and information, and, you know, there's plenty of other independent...
You are coping and seething.
And, you know, people that have done analysis of these numbers, and you ain't the tactical voting choice. It's Labour.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't. The Labour Party have shot themselves in the dick. Then no one's voting for you. You're not the tactical anything.
But by all means, if Reform win this seat, I have no doubt the Greens will take no responsibility for the campaign that they've run.
Yeah, because the Labour Party is shit. If you lose a seat that you have held since the 1930s, so during the dark days of the 1950s, when the Labour Party weren't in government at all, the entire decade of the 50s, they held this seat. During the fucking dark days of Thatcher, where Thatcher had massive majorities, the entire 1980s, they weren't in power at all, or in office at all, they held this seat. During the fucking time of the coalition government and the Tory governments of the recent years, they held this seat. During all of it. During the supposed worst election ever, which wasn't the worst election ever, but during the supposed worst election ever of 2019, they held this seat. If, after all of that, this seat now doesn't vote for you, that's on you and nobody else. You have a massive majority in that seat. If you lose it, it's because you're shit. You, the Labour Party, are fucking dog shit. That is the reason you're going to lose, not the Green Party.
They will basically say that, oh, well, it was Labour's fault, or, oh, people just didn't get the message to, you know, not vote, you know, to vote tactically.
You're doing the same thing you did last time, except now it's not keep the Tories out, it's now keep Reform out. How about you give me a reason to fucking vote for you ever? Give people who want to vote for Labour a reason to vote for Labour, and they will. But you haven't. You've given them every fucking possible reason to never vote for you again. You're literally in the midst of trying to whip your own MPs to cover up the pedo/espionage scandals of a former Labour minister who you knowingly sent to America to do more espionage. But it's the Green Party.
Remember how they are running this campaign now, and get ready. Get ready.
I am ready. I'm ready.
Boy.
I am ready. I am ready to piss on the coffin of the Labour Party as it dies. Yeah, fuck you.
I think this is a sign to come for the local elections, honestly. But I want to cover this because I think this sums it up even more. So this, to begin with, is from the New World. So why Zach Polanski is now dodging the Galton and Denton by-election. So the forthcoming, of course, Galton and Denton by-election is now considerably having less star power than once, of course, seemed very likely. Labour, of course, blocked Andy Burnham from standing, which in turn rendered the redundant...
Want to talk about that? Want to talk about why you blocked the only person who could have won that seat for you? You want to point out how Keir Starmer put himself above either party or country? Nah. It's not an issue. It's not an issue. It's not an issue. No, it's not an issue. It's not. It's not. It's not. It's not an issue. It's not an issue.
Promised by former MP George Galloway to stand against the Greater Manchester Mayor, and of course, Green Party leader Zach Polanski, like Burnham, currently without a Westminster seat, has disappointed many of his new party members by pulling out too. The Greens are, of course, already currently in full campaign mode, but those now who know the constituency...
The only pulling out Zach Polanski is doing is pulling out of the Labour Party that he just fucked and coming on its back. Shut up.
Believe that Polanski has now made a wise decision. To hold off reform, the party of the left will need someone with as broad appeal as possible. And while Polanski was at least hoping to peel off Labour and Lib Dem voters, insiders say that he may have concluded that the nearly 4,000 voters who backed Galloway's Workers' Party back in 2024, a considerable percentage of them Muslims, are unlikely to vote for a gay Jewish man this time around, however he might sound on...
Oh, just a cheeky bit of Islamophobia. Oh, lovely. You know, because all Muslims hate gay people and Jews. All of them. Every single Muslim that's ever existed hates gays and Jews, including ones that are gay themselves and are in relationships with Jews. The fuck is wrong with you? Like, they've specifically pulled out of the race in order for people to vote for the Green Party. I believe I'm right in saying that your party are doing the same. So what are you talking? Both of those parties have, you know, large Muslim showing within the party and in terms of the people who vote for them, and they pulled out specifically to allow those people to vote for the Green Party, that's led by a gay man who is Jewish. But no, let's just be Islamophobic. That's the level to which Islamophobia is just fucking permeates every corner of British society, and it's just tolerated. You can't so much as give a bit of side eye to Israel without being accused of anti-Semitism, right? So in hoc to the fucking Zionist lobby are the entire British establishment, but you can just be like, oh, Muslims are all fucking homophobic, is anti-Semite pieces of shit, all of them, every single one of them, to the core of their being, they're all fucking scum. And that's fine. That's normal. That's just normal political discourse in Britain. It fucking blows my mind. And then you get cunts like Lee Anderson when someone points out that Islamophobia exists and he shouts out, "No, it doesn't." Look in the mirror, you fucking dumb cunt.
On Gaza. The Green, of course, campaign for the seat features using tactics, of course, cribbed from Polanski's, of course, old party, the Lib Dems, who he angrily quit after not being selected as a by-election candidate for the Richmond Park constituency. There are, of course, circulating now a very...
What Labour noncery is this from, by the way? What Labour Party hack site is this from? Did he say when? Where was the? He showed the headline. Did it have a? I can't fucking see. Does it have it in the? Does it have a link? No, no link to the thing. I love that. The top comment. The top comment is, well, vote Green then. Labour are not owed votes. On his own fucking channel, man. You minge. Try Googling the headline. Oh, for fuck's sake. Does that mean I have to type? Why Zach Polanski is dodging Gorton and Denton? The New World. Is that it? That's it. Okay. What is The New World? Well, apart from, like, the Americas. What is the New World magazine? Oh, for fuck's sake. Magazine. Oh, it's a link to their own fucking site. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Is there an about? Is there an about section? Oh god, it's oh my fucking god. Okay, so the writers for this magazine, I can't tell you exactly if they're a Labour Party affiliated organisation, but the writers for this organisation are like Alistair Campbell, the former head of communications for Tony Blair. Paul Mason, who is literally fucking like a Labour Party blowjob machine. That's all he does, is he just constantly sucks Keir Starmer's cock 24/7 out. That's it. That's it. That's all. So it's a Labour Party shit rag. That's all this is. Yeah, Campbell, the dodgy dossier guy, yeah, the war criminal who should be in the fucking Hague, yeah. So that's the source he's using for this. I told you it was a Labour blowjob bit. I told you. I fucking knew it was.
The Gorton and Denton.
Now, you would think, if you were being... What was the phrase you used earlier? Disingenuous, wasn't it? If, Bowler Hat Man, you were not being disingenuous and didn't want to seem to be disingenuous, you would inform people that the thing you're reading from is a Labour Party wank rag. Not an independent source where investigative journalism lives or something. A place that employs Paul Mason. I wouldn't employ Paul Mason to clean out the fucking... to clean out my ass crack. I was trying to think of something demeaning. But actually that could be quite fun. I don't know, it depends what you're into. Paul Mason's a fucking joke. He's a freak. Should we see what Paul Mason's been up to on the fucking kiddie porn site known as Twitter? Or X.com or whatever the fuck. I've spelt it Paul Mason. Which means it hasn't come up with the fucking answer that I wanted, which is the actual Paul Mason. Where is it? Here he is. Rearm Britain. Here we go. Come on, Paul. What you got? Is he just retweeting people? Zach lives in a castle-like reality. Okay. She's already a rebel in Corbyn's party. When we end dehumanisation, we find each other and act. Something Zach Polanski, needs to learn about. And here he... Oh my god. He's retweeting Mark Rutte.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Victory is ours.
So much of a fucking establishment shill cunt that he is. He's retweeting Mark Rutte, the former Dutch Prime Minister and current NATO Secretary General. But this is the kind of socialist they employ over at the New World. No wonder I'd never heard of it. It's a fucking irrelevance.
Denton by-election. So the forthcoming, of course, again.
Oh, and of course, Paul Mason's so desperate that he's applied to seat in 5 different seats and been rejected by the Labour Party every single time. So pathetic is he, and yet he still goes back for more. Amazing.
Galton and Denton by-election is now considerably having less star power than once, of course, seemed very likely. Labour, of course, blocked Andy Burnham from standing, which in turn rendered the redundant promise by former MP George Galloway to stand against the Greater Manchester Mayor. And of course, Green Party leader Zach Polanski, like Burnham, currently without a Westminster seat, has disappointed many of his new party members by pulling out too. The Greens are, of course, already currently in full campaign mode, but those now who know...
Well, of course they are. It's a month away, or 2 months away, whatever. It's been... By the way, they've announced the thing, and it's not... I thought they'd wait until the May elections and hold them at the same time, but they're going to hold it in, like, a month and a half or something. Which is what you would usually expect in any normal situation, but I just thought, as it was close enough to the local elections, they'd hold it on the same day, rather than running 2 different elections, but... Yeah, they've gone with the shorter time frame, whatever. But either way, of course they're in full campaign mode, because there's a date for the election, so of course they're now campaigning. Which, to Americans, I know this is going to seem strange, but generally campaigns happen close to an election, not all the fucking time. Like, there's a time when you campaign, and then an election happens, and then, like, government stuff, and no campaign. And then they announce, look, there's another election, and then they start campaigning before the election. You see? Saves a lot of time and money doing it that way, rather than a never-ending fucking trudge through political corruption on TV all the fucking time. And then it just gets worse before an election.
For the constituency, believe that Polanski has now made a wise decision. To hold off reform, the party of the left will need someone with as broad appeal as possible. And while Polanski was at least hoping to peel off Labour and Lib Dem voters, insiders say that he may have concluded that the nearly 4,000 voters who backed Galloway's Workers' Party back in 2024, a considerable percentage of them Muslims, are unlikely to vote for a gay Jewish man this time around, however he might sound.
Jesus Christ! So it's just Islamophobia. The entire fucking thing is just Islamophobia. So the reason Zach Polanski is not because, like, he's not from Manchester and they didn't want to just parachute him in there, and they let the actual local party decide rather than just, like, enforcing their friend who's a loyalist, which the Labour Party tends to do. Yeah. No, it's because Muslims are all fucking scum or something. What about the fact that the majority of British Muslims, according to current polling, support the Green Party and would vote for them if there was an election today? Because that's not being mentioned in this, is it? The party led by a gay Jewish man, who we're being told in this article would never vote for a gay Jewish man. The majority of those people would vote for the gay Jewish man, or at least the party of the gay Jewish man. I think the writer of this might just be an Islamophobic piece of shit, and you really shouldn't be quoting them as if they know anything, because they don't. Also, can we think of any reasons, chat, why the Muslim voters here in the UK, who traditionally have been quite strongly Labour Party voters, right? The majority of the Muslim vote at most, I think, general elections in the last 50 years, basically, since there has been a sizable Muslim population here, have the majority of those have voted for the Labour Party, and I think pretty much every election, but certainly most elections. Can we think of any reasons why the Muslim population of the United Kingdom might not want to vote for the Labour Party at the moment? I'll give you a second, chat. Think real hard, right? Why the current Labour government and its policies are not something that most people, including Muslims, want anything to fucking do with. Oh, it must be. Well, yeah, it must be Ukraine. I tell you why it is Ukraine, because the British government is backing the Ukrainian government, who are led by who? A Jewish man. Anti-Semites, all of them. It's because Volodymyr Zelensky is a Jewish man, and they don't want the Jewish man to win. See, it all makes sense when you're a fucking crazy racist bastard. No, it's because the British government are actively complicit and indeed actively involved in the genocide of a specific Muslim group. That Muslims, generally speaking, are not massively fond of the Labour Party right now. I mean, I could be so bold as to suggest that the Muslim population here in the UK have a right to defend themselves. She does have a right to defend herself. The Muslims.
However he might sound on Gaza. The Green, of course, campaign for the seat features using tactics, of course, cribbed from Polanski's, of course, old party, the Lib Dems, who he angrily quit after not being selected as a by-election candidate for the Richmond Park constituency. There are, of course, circulating now a very dubious bar chart.
It looks like... It looks like he's peering down on you. It does a bit. He looks like... What was that? The meme during the 40s? Something was here. What was that thing? The Kirby or something was here? What was that thing? Americans, tell me. The graffiti thing. Kilroy. Kilroy was here. It's that. He's Kilroying me. Not in the British sense of, like, he's got a fake tan and does terrible right-wing politics. But this thing. Kilroy was here. It's this piece. Well, that's a monument to Kilroy was here. Jesus Christ. Kilroy was here is a meme that became popular during World War II. Typically seen in graffiti, though its origins predate its use in graffiti by several decades. Its origin is debated, but the phrase and distinctive accompanying doodle became associated with American GIs in the 1940s. A bald-headed man sometimes depicted as having a few hairs, with a prominent nose peeking over a wall with his fingers clutching the wall. I'm being Kilroyed right now. I'm just saying. I'm being Kilroyed.
Portraying the seat as now a two-horse race between themselves and Reform, with a, quote, Labour have blown it caption, showing the incumbent now in first place. Labour's, of course, remaining online activists say the chart is now based on at least on an estimate of the vote of the change since the last election. It is, of course, cheeky at best, given that Labour, of course, took over 18,000 votes in...
Yeah, exactly, when people did want to vote for you, a bit.
Fate will be in each other's hands as they decide whether to share or to shaft.
That was Robert Kilroy Silk, who was a game show host here in the UK in the 2000s, and then became a far-right politician. As you do.
2024 versus the 5,000 for the Greens. But no, do tell me that the Greens are the tactical choice in this seat.
Because polling has changed. Because Labour have been fucking shite in government for the last 20 months or whatever it is. Yeah, the polling has changed. Like, why would Labour need to be a tactical vote in a seat where it had such a massive majority? It got over 50% of the total raw vote in this seat at the last general election. Why would you now need to vote tactically for them? Unless they were fucking dog shit and no one wanted to vote for them ever. Almost like you're the most unpopular government fucking ever. It's almost as if Keir Starmer is the most unpopular Prime Minister ever.
By all means, do tell me. 18,000 versus 5,000.
Yeah, but the polling has massively changed. Nobody wants to vote for you anymore.
And it gets even better.
Why not give me the fucking vote from 1972 as well while you're at it? It's just as fucking relevant. The polling has massively changed. Your already not very high percentage of the raw vote has cratered. In some polls, you're 5th. In some of the polling, it has you coming out as having not even high double digits MPs. Like 20 MPs.
Of course, there's a guy called Jack Dart who runs Reform Watch.
Who I presume is probably another Labour shithead, seems like you're quoting him. I don't know, but, you know.
So he's had something to say about this as well. So this is what he...
Oh, by the way, yeah, I forgot. I had this fucking teed up. You know, I did the working class history thing. Everyone go and follow the actual working class history page and podcast. Ooh, podcast. But it's a good podcast. I forgot I even had that fucking the tab open. There you go. I was cleaning out my tabs. I was like, getting rid of tabs I don't need anymore. I was like, oh shit, I forgot I had that open. I'm very professional, chat. Anyway, go and follow them. They're very good.
Yep.
And it's not just a UK thing. They have like all from around the world. Working class history globally.
On his Facebook page about this. So he said, Pride has no place in a by-election where Reform are within reach of the seat. And Galton and Darton is now drifting towards the exact...
Hang on. If Pride has no place in a by-election, why did you want the gay man to stand? Hey-oh!
Gay is in, gay is hot. I want some gay, gay it's going to be.
That danger, as Greens now attempt to try to manufacture a story about the polling that does not support. Every published poll currently in circulation puts the Green Party behind Labour. The constituency by-election poll has Reform on 30%, Labour on 27%, and the Greens on 17%. While the Greater Manchester regional polling has been published that shows the same basic ordering, that Labour are ahead of the Greens. Not.
I mean, firstly, it's Reform Watch, so I don't know who they are or what their biases are particularly, other than being against Reform. I would hazard a guess they're probably Labour scumbags, but whatever. I've seen polling that very much differs from that. Also, you have a massive majority in that seat. Why do you need to be voted for tactically? Are Labour going to get a Manderson Traitorgate bounce? I presume so. I presume people in Britain like having government documents leaked to foreign nationals. I presume the Labour Party will now piss the ball at the Gorton and Denton by-election. Yeah. Yep.
Nothing in the public record justifies the Greens presenting themselves as the leading anti-reform choice here. The presence now of them actually doing that does real harm in a contest where small shifts...
Much love, Comrie. Boom!
Decide...
It's Comrie, isn't it? Because there's an E on the end, Kev. Fucking pronounce it properly, you English cunt.
Everything. The Greens now are leaning on a very selective flaming of blurred categories to try and imply that they are the best place to try and stop reform, and that tactic is...
When you say even socialists hate traitors, yeah, like, it's not even just the fact that he's a traitor, it's why he was a traitor. He literally wanted to stop the British government from enacting either caps or taxes on bankers' bonuses just after the 2008 financial crash, to allow Jeffrey Epstein, the rich paedophile, and his rich paedophile friends to get away with paying extra taxes and things in the UK. So he wasn't just a traitor, he was a traitor for like the least good reason you could possibly be a traitor. And I think there are good reasons to be a traitor, by the way. I think so. I think if your government is doing genocide and you leak sensitive government information about your government doing a genocide, I think that's a perfectly reasonable thing to do. I think if your government, like a real world example, Mordechai Vanunu, I think a person who should be celebrated as an international hero, released government documents from the Israeli government showing that they had a then secret nuclear stockpile. That was treason. Okay? That was absolutely treason. He released government documents that were highly classified that he had no right under Israeli law to ever release to anybody under any fucking circumstances. And yet he did so. And the thing that was always rumoured to be true was proven to be true. That Israel had nuclear weapons. I think it still fucking denies, even though Mordechai Vanunu released those documents proving it, was sentenced and convicted and served his sentence and released, and they still deny it. It's almost like they're just lying bastards, you know? It's almost like they're a cheeky little lying government of lying bastards doing genocide and breaking international law and non-proliferation and all the rest of it. Crazy. But no, we should definitely be sending them more weapons, obviously. That'd be crazy if we didn't do that. Imagine if we didn't send weapons to the genociders who have a secret nuclear fucking stockpile. I try not to use the word traitor at all, but in Mandelson's case... Well, I'm not talking in the kind of metaphorical sense. Like, the right wing accuse you of being a traitor if you say the country's a bit shit or whatever. Like, you're a traitor if you don't want people to put a flag on every lamppost. Or you think it's a bit silly. You're a traitor. You hate this country. All that shit. I mean, in the legal sense. You're doing a bit of treachery. You're releasing sensitive data to people, some of whom are enemies of the United Kingdom, or in the case of Mordechai Vanunu, Israel. Because, of course, a lot of Arab countries turned around and went, see, Israel's got fucking nuclear weapons, bro. And it weakened Israel's international position. So he did a treason. And rightly fucking so. $255 asks, Kev, how will you react if in the lead up to the next election some people in the UK, Lib left, adopt like a UK version of the vote blue no matter who thing? You know, just vote for whoever is most likely to beat the fascists no matter what. I'm okay with that. I mean, I don't think you necessarily have to do that, but I'm fine with people saying it. Like, I don't think I can ever, under this party leadership, ever suggest anyone vote for the Labour Party. Okay? I don't think I ever could. So outside of Labour, and I don't think I can with the Lib Dems as well, given what they did in coalition. But outside of that, vote for whoever is most likely as a progressive force to win. So I'm a member of the Green Party, right? I'll be absolutely straightforward about that. But if you vote, I won't ask you to say you will vote Green in any seat. If you live in a seat where the SNP can win, but the Greens can't, vote SNP, obviously. Or Plaid Cymru in Wales, or even something as horrific, and they are gobshites, as the Workers' Party, who are transphobic scumfucks, right? They're socially conservative pricks, but are significantly better because at least they don't want to genocide Palestinians and think that, like, it's a bad thing that Britain's genociding people. Like, even in that case, I would say hold your nose and vote for the Workers' Party, at least in part because, like, say with Jess Phillips or whoever, it doesn't matter whether it's a fucking the Labour candidate, Jess Phillips, or Shabana Mahmood or whoever, right? It doesn't matter if it's the Labour Party or the Workers' Party gets in. It's going to be a transphobe. So that's a wash. That issue is, like, essentially settled in that seat. Whoever gets elected will be a transphobe. So sort of judge it on other issues. Like, if it's a transphobe who supports genocide or a transphobe who opposes genocide, vote for the transphobe who opposes genocide. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know that's terrible, and it's like, I know it's a position of comfort as a cis person to dare to ask a trans person to vote for a fucking transphobe who opposes genocide. I know that. And you can scream at me all you like, and I'll you know what, I'll take that. That's fine. I'm not going to fucking moan about that. I'm not a bitch. I'm not going to whinge about being cancelled. You're perfectly within your fucking rights to do it. But I'll say I'll reiterate the point nonetheless. Being a smelly anarchist, I don't give a fuck if someone's traitor to the state, since most of my opinions are by definition treasonous. That's fine, Phil Decker. Look, as I said, I think there are perfectly reasonable reasons to be a traitor, and I think there are perfectly awful reasons to be a traitor. Like, even as an anarchist, surely you don't think trying to stop bankers' bonus being taxed by doing treason. Surely you don't think that's okay. Surely there would be there's no situation in which that's okay. Surely. I can't give a duck. Are you comfy with what I said? What did you say? You could opt to vote Green if you are in England and Wales, and that would help us in Scotland as well as yourself. You could opt to vote for a different party if that party is progressive and is likely to win in your area, but whatever you do, please join a union. Even if you're unemployed, you can still join a union. Yeah, of course I'm fine with that. That's basically what I believe to a T. Yeah. I'm not just comfy with it. Actually, well, I won't pin it because we've got working class history pinned, and I don't want to unpin them. Especially as I used their fucking thing earlier. Yeah, but yeah, join a fucking trade union. That's one of the best things you can do. Even if you don't want to vote. Even if you're an anarchist, which is absolutely fine, join a fucking trade union. 100%. Whether it's your specific trade union, or whether it's the Wobblies, the IWW, or whatever. Join a fucking union, please. It's the best thing you can do, given the situation we're currently in. Was Stanislav Petrov's decision not to order nuclear death for all treason? I don't know what that means. Not to order nuclear death. What's nuclear death? £60p a week for me who's exactly. If you're unemployed, you get reduced rates, or if you're on certain, if you're in certain industries or on certain pay grades, you can get a reduced rate on your union fees or your union. I say dues. Dues is the American pronunciation, which would be really helpful if Britain could adopt. That's the one piece of yankification. If I could introduce it, I would. Is to take the word D-U-E and change its pronunciation in Britain from Jew to do. Because people, when you say Jews, people think you mean Jewish people. Which, like, so dues doesn't get confused with any other word. People understand what you mean when you say that. So that's the one yankification I would allow. And it's the one yankification that doesn't fucking happen. People spelling hypnotise with a Z, oh, that's fucking happened. Bunch of cunts. Sorry. We're going to get through this. This is a fucking 11-minute video that's lasted 2 hours.
Indefensible. It misleads voters who might want to keep the far right out. It invites people to vote with pride rather than judge.
Dues is a Scottish word for pigeons. What? The fuck? Okay. You know what, Scotland? You do you. That's fine.
And it fractures the only coalition large enough to actually beat reform on the night. A by-election is, of course, unforgiving. It rewards the side that stays disciplined.
Fogel, you know what? I'll salute that. I intentionally chose American English in my story as a middle finger to Garbage Island's anti-trans politics. Which is funny, because, look, America has worse anti-trans politics. Oh. That's amazing. By the way, everyone go and buy Fogel's book. It's fucking dope. It's got fucking pictures and stuff. It's awesome. Anyway.
And punishes the side of the party that plays fast and loose with the facts. Tactical voting is the hard truth of seats and numbers of what currently are available. Labour sits closest now to reform.
No, America definitively has worse trans politics than the UK. Like, just Donald Trump, so the head of the government, coming out and being like, oh, they want to trans everybody. They want a transgender for everybody. Like, the British Prime Minister doesn't say that. The British no one says that. Even the most transphobic like fucking George Galloway
Throbbing.
doesn't come out and say they want to trans everybody. That's fucking mental. And yet that's like Republican talking point number 1. Like, don't get me wrong, Turf Island is like the worst place ever in every capacity. But America's like worse than that.
Nothing bad can happen. It can only good happen.
Greens sit well behind, and the path to blocking reform runs through the candidate with the clearest route of beating them. Plenty of people, of course, have serious reasons to be angry, of course, with Labour, and no one is asked.
I used to work with a member of the Workers' Party, and he always used to say "morning, brother." Oh, that's dope. I don't know why it reminds me particularly, but Charlie Chaplin, back when he was like the biggest film star in the world, right? He had a multi-million-dollar contract, and that's back when millions of dollars was like crazy-ass millions of dollars. We're talking the fucking 20s and 30s, right? The place he frequented most was like a dive diner, like a real low-grade, like working-class diner that was run by a Marxist guy who used to like quote Marx and Engels and shit as he was like serving people, because like Charlie Chaplin was a communist. Like, he just was. At one point in time, Charlie Chaplin was the second highest earner in the world as a communist. There was only the head of US Steel that was more highly remunerated. Mad shit. Absolutely mad.
Asking them to pretend otherwise. But anger, of course, does not change the arithmetic. Very true indeed. I agree with him on that.
And you know what? Fuck it. I don't care if it gets copyrighted. Ace of Base didn't get us copyrighted. We're going to end tonight's show with the amazing final speech from the great dictator. As I've mentioned, the great man. That's what's happening.
100%. And it does...
Great man, although a bit noncy. It was just a thing at the time. Like, it's gross as fuck, but it was a thing at the time.
Not protect a community from the consequences of a reform win. And that is what I keep on pointing about. The way that they are running this by-election, the way that they seem to be wanting to run these local elections, especially in my area.
Is he still talking? I'd forgotten this was on. I was thinking about fucking Charlie Chaplin. Is this guy still fucking talking? That's how interested I am in what he has to say.
It comes across as doing nothing but wanting Labour to lose.
I do want Labour to lose. I don't really want them to lose to reform, but I do want them to lose. Because, right, they deserve to lose. They have earned losing. Okay? They have done so many bad things actively, not just made mistakes, which would be bad enough in of itself, but they have actively, willingly done so many terrible fucking things and acted in such a evil way. I don't know how else to describe. I was trying to think of a more technical term for it, but look, just evil. They've been fucking evil in government. From freezing grannies to active participation in at least 2 genocides at this point. I would argue 3, but whatever. We'll leave Yemen out of this for a second. At least 2 genocides. The covering up of the paedophilia of the guy that the alleged paedophilia and alleged espionage / alleged treachery of their person that they sent to the fucking be the most the highest profile diplomatic position we have, that of the ambassador of the United Kingdom to the United States of America. Our number one ally, the country whose arse we couldn't be fucking licking hard enough, apparently. Whose papers we scrabble at the feet of to pick up. Literally. To multiple occasions now trying to cut disability fucking benefits in the most evil and reprehensible way you could imagine. Even Tories didn't go this fucking far, you monsters. To now having friendly relationships with an Al-Qaeda government in Syria. You have done everything you possibly... A second state visit for Trump. Everything. Everything they've fucking done has just been terrible to begin with. The welcoming of anti-trans rulings from the fucking not the High Court. The, I nearly call them the Law Lords, which was their old name. The, what do you call it? The fucking... Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is what they're called. It's a new name. I grew up with them being known as the Law Lords. Leave me alone. All of that shit. All of it. You have done everything in your power to drive people away from voting for you. You have earned every loss you're about to sustain, be it in the Westminster Parliament via by-election, whether it's in the council elections that follow in May, or whether it's the next general election, where you are in trouble of being wiped into the dustbin of history. The most successful progressive party this country has ever seen, built by the working class, by a good Keir Hardie, the original, the first Labour MP ever elected, the first leader of the party, built by the working class, led by fucking great working class legends like Aneurin Bevan, but also by fantastic upper class traitors like Clement Attlee or Tony Benn. And then fucking destroyed by Tony Blair and Gordon Brown and Alistair Campbell and Peter Nonselson. And now Keir fucking Starmer, KC. You know what? Fuck you. You've earned it. You have earned the place in the political fucking funeral home that you have just put the corpse of the Labour Party into. The grave it is about to be lowered into is a place that you have earned that body to remain. And it'll be replaced by the Green Party, which may or may not be as successful, may or may not be as good. Who fucking knows? But you and your acolytes, who have been fine with the Keir Starmer Morgan McSweeney takeover of this party, have absolutely deserved the fucking losses you're about to sustain. Good fucking riddance to the lot of you.
And what do they gain from that? Like what do they gain from that?
The death of the Labour Party, the death of the party that took us into Iraq, the death of the party that took us into Afghanistan, the death of the party that has consistently, over the last 50 years, supported the fucking state of Israel, including its genocidal campaigns against the Palestinian people and its illegal invasions and annexations of other people's territory. Yeah. You know what? Win. W for humanity.
Epic dub.
But back to this. Anyway, let's finish off his thing. Reform, of course, thrive very much on division. Each victory, of course, buys them legitimacy, money, and staff and capacity, and constant airtime, which they will then use as to sharpen their scape.
I've been very ranty tonight. I hope you're okay with that. I try not to. I try to just be kind of passively sarcastic rather than actively angry, but I don't know. It's just this Labour Party is so fucking filthy. And not in a fun, cute, like they're just disgusting. They make me fucking sick.
And to push their politics deeper into public life. The human costs lands first on migrants, refugees, Muslims, and everyone already living under the strain of that prejudice.
Well, you talk about prejudice. How about having a prime minister talk about a nation of being an island of strangers? How about having the prime minister actively take one news organisation on a trip to Albania, right? A trip to Albania where he was going to sign a specifically pretty fucking dodgy deal with the Albanian government to send people to Albania. A kind of Rwanda 2 electric boogaloo, shall we say. And he took one media organisation with him on that trip. GB fucking News. The dark money funded right-wing shithouse organisation that Matt Goodwin, you know, the guy who's the Reform Party candidate in this by-election, he works for GB News. Just saying. Anyway, he took that one news organisation with him to Albania to make the Island of Strangers comment. A comment he knew was aping the language of the Rivers of Blood speech of Enoch fucking Powell, the most racist man arguably to have ever stood in Parliament, certainly let's say in the last 100 years. Don't fucking talk to me about divisive politics when you are defending that man. Because you've not a leg to stand on.
But it does not stop there, since a far-right foothold in Parliament drags the whole debate towards cruelty and away from the real work of trying to fix housing, wages and public service. The Greens can of course argue for a Green MP without misleading people, if they believe that they are ahead of Labour in the Galton and Dyson.
Okay, the face mirroring makes him look like Squidward. That's just unfortunate, man. Oh no. Oh, 255, that's the worst one ever. He looks like fucking Squidward. No. Oh, fucking hell. Oh. Do you think Mordecai Vanunu sounds like one of the actors from Stephen Toast's Agent Ball? What a reference! What a reference. Oh.
K Tightneck, Cockaboo, Peanut Whistle, Una Length, Dick Weirdley, Sal Commotion, Scott Chestnut, Basil Watchfair, Iqbal Achieve, Nan Slack, Giuseppe Race, even Heathcock Pursuit. Every single one, all performed at the Globe.
Heathcock Pursuit. He does Mordecai Vanunu just sounds like a Stephen Toast actor. Ray Bloody Purchase.
By-election, the Galton and Darton, then they should actually publish a robust constituency voter intention evidence and actually defend it openly. And if they cannot, they should stop circulating it with claims and graphics that encourage the anti-reform voters to take a punt that helps reform through the middle. A split vote delivers reform. Disciplined, actual tactical voting will block them. And any
or Labour not being fucking dreadful would also help. Or Labour stepping aside to allow the Green Party to win. Given that the Labour Party now cannot win. Yeah. The Norwegian monarchy is about to fall. Firstly, based. Secondly, is that about the Crown Prince is a nonce or something? I heard something. I haven't been able to follow it all. Given look, we've got enough internal nonce news that I haven't been able to follow the international nonce news that well. But I heard something about the Crown Prince of Norway being a rapist or something. I don't fucking know. Like, it's just, it makes your fucking skin crawl. All these, genuinely, if you're in a position of authority, I automatically think you might now be a nonce. All of you. I already knew you were corrupt. Like, obviously, if you're a billionaire, you're a corrupt bastard. You exploit people. That's what happens. But I assume you're a fucking pedo now as well. Because the chances are you're in the fucking file somewhere. And not in a, like, oh, fucking R. Kelly was moaning about you that one time in an email. No. You're probably, like, on the fucking flight logs. In the black book of contact, you know? On June the 27th, 2013, Jeffrey Epstein had written in his calendar that he would go shopping at the Prada store in New York with Crown Prince Mette Marit and her Swedish friend Eva Dubin? I don't know. Epstein's ex-girlfriend. That is reported by Norwegian TV2. The same day, around $4,000 was deducted from his card at the luxury store Bergdorf Goodman. That's so posh I've never even heard of it. A 6-minute walk from the Prada store, his bank statement shows. So basically he bought thousands of dollars worth of stuff for Crown Princess Mette Marit. The son of the princess is a rapist. Oh, for fuck's sake. So he gave thousands of pounds of jewellery, I think, or whatever that store sells, from New York to her, and her son is a rapist. He's been arrested on 38 counts of rape. Oh, he looks like a Nazi as well. I mean, to be fair, Norwegians kind of do. Which is a shame, because they were very good in resisting the Nazis. I won't have a bad word said. But, look, he looks like a fucking SS poster child. Look at him. Like, he should be... That face is the face... That morphology, everything, is the kind of thing you see in a fucking painting with him and his blonde wife in a field of corn with their white children in a Nazi poster. Look at him. Fucking... That cunt fucking guarded people at Auschwitz. Look at him. That's not literally true, of course, given the age, but you know what I mean. Rape trial puts Norway's royal family in unwelcome glare of public. When Marius Borg Hoiby, apologies for every pronunciation that's about to happen, okay, stands up in a room of 250 at Oslo District Court on Tuesday at the start of Norway's biggest trial in years, he will have no moral support from his closest relatives. His mother, Crown Princess Mette Marit, who again is the person that Jeffrey Epstein gave thousands of dollars of jewellery to, allegedly, will not be there, nor will the man she married when her son of four, the heir to the Norwegian throne, Crown Prince Haakon. For the next 7 weeks, there will be no pictures of the blonde 29-year-old SS officer. Sorry, I added that bit. Either side, inside the court or outside. The court has banned them. But the world's press is here in numbers, and the Norwegian palace is keeping well away. I bet they fucking are. Hoiby is accused of 38 charges, including rape of 4 women, assaulting and threatening a girlfriend, and damaging her flat, as well as drug charges and driving offences. If found guilty, he could face more than 10 years in jail. See, that's the problem. Norway. I had this when I went through the case of Varg Vikernes as well. Or was he Finland? Oh, shit, I forget. Anyway, Scandinavians. You don't imprison people properly. If you get convicted of 38 counts, including 4 of rape, you shouldn't see freedom ever again. But the maximum he could get... Sorry, more than 10 years in jail. So let's say, what, 15 or something? Like... If you get convicted of 1 rape, I think you need 20 years. That would be my fucking look at it. But if you get convicted of 4 counts of rape, like, honestly, 3 strikes and you're out when it comes to sexual assault. That's it. You get convicted of 3 sex offences, you're in jail forever. You never get released. Are we all on board with that as a policy? 3 strikes and you're out. Any sex offence, getting your dick out in public, flashing, any kind of noncery, whatever, you know what I mean? Just, that's it. And he's got fucking 4 on him. With royalty, you got to go with a firing squad. Disavow. For legal reasons, we disavow that concept. When, look, we all like to party like it's 1789, obviously. But, like, for legal reasons. Let's not suggest illegal things in chat, can we? I'd like not to get arrested, if that's okay. Thank you. Surely he's going to get kicked out of the line of succession. Well, why is there a line... This is the thing. Why is there a line of succession? Why is there a king? Why is any of this a thing? This person should just be random member of the public, Marius Borg Hoiby, gets convicted of a thing. It shouldn't be a story that the world knows about. This should just be weird rapey man in Norway goes to jail. End of story. Before I go to sleep, what does your Irish friend Gil think? My Irish friend Gil, Mr. O'Teen, has some very sharp ideas about what to do. He really thinks this man's neck is on the line, and he has some very, very good ideas. Not necessarily ideas I totally agree with for legal reasons, but ideas about what he thinks should be done about this. I would let him speak, but again, for legal reasons, it's probably best I don't. Because, like I say, he really likes to party like it's 1789. Or 1918. That's the Bolsheviks. Anyway. So yeah, so basically the noncing goes to the core of all of these corrupt, evil establishments. Again, honestly, I named this stream "The Establishment Hates You, Hate Them Back," and I didn't realise myself how true it was. I was just talking about Peter Mandelson, and yet in every country, on every continent, it's just true. It's not just fuck the police, although of course. Righteous. It's not just that, it's fuck all powerful bastards. They're all evil cunts. Like, the anarchists have got some very, very pertinent points. Okay? I'm not myself completely convinced by everything they have to say, but they have some very, very good criticisms of structures of power. Socialists, I disavow.
Anyone who claims to oppose the far right should start acting like it.
I do oppose the far right, which is why I think Mike Tapp should be kicked out of the Labour Party. Instead of being retweeted by Paul Mason, the person who writes for the organisation you're quoting. Or were quoting. I think this is a different one now.
I agree with them. Honestly, I agree with them.
I don't care. I
because
don't
this
care.
is just coming across like it is just we are going to just run this campaign just to make Labour lose, and
well, that in of itself, that's righteous, because the Labour Party deserve to lose and be destroyed. Yeah, fuck them. Like, the fact that the Reform Party will get in is not great, but given the Labour Party seem to want to be echoing the Reform Party in every conceivable way. Okay? Who gives a fuck? Like, which party of the two want to get rid of jury trials? Oh, that's the Labour Party. Which party has been locking people up for daring to support, let's say, you can't say Palestine Action are awesome and based and you should support them. You can't say that. It's illegal. I would never say that. I'm just giving you the, yeah. Who's locking people up for saying that? The thing that you can't say, which is that we should all support Palestine Action, which again you can't fucking say. Don't say that, chat. It's illegal. Which party made it illegal? Which party was in government that made it illegal to say Palestine Action are awesome and everyone should support them? Which again you cannot fucking say. You can't say it. Don't say that, chat. Please. For your own legal safety, don't say Palestine Action are fucking awesome and I support the hunger strikers. Don't say it. It's illegal. Who made it illegal? I'm just asking a question here. Who made that illegal? Was it the Reform Party? Or was it the Labour Party? Oh, it was the Labour Party. Which party locked people up for was it plans to cause public nuisance? It was the Labour Party. Which party promised to get rid of the House of Lords and then didn't do anything to reform the House of Lords and defended their alleged pedo, alleged traitor in the House of Lords? It was the Reform Party. No, it's the Labour Party. So what difference does it matter to me whether one fucking fascist authoritarian shit streak gets in or another one? You're asking me to choose between eating a plate of elephant shit or a plate of donkey shit. They're two plates of shit. I don't want either of them. Can I vote for anything other than shit, please? Like, I don't know, the Green Party, who are not shit. Just saying.
You end up with a Reform win. And what does that achieve? But, do tell me about how the Greens apparently love tactical voting.
I don't give a fuck about tactical voting. I hate the Labour Party. I hate the Reform Party too, but I hate the Labour Party. And again, in terms of my own rights, why should I be scared of the Reform Party and not afraid of the Labour Party? The Labour Party are the one trying to take away my rights right now. Now, if the Reform Party get in, they'll try. But the Labour Party are already doing it. The Labour Party are more than happy to set the groundwork, not just for reform to get in, but for fascism to be there when they get there. Like, at least Hitler had to pass his own enabling act. You're passing the enabling act before Hitler even fucking gets in. You're literally doing the fascism now that reform want to do. So why the fuck should I vote for you?
Or when they do stuff like this, and it's just...
Do stuff like what?
It's maddening. It's really maddening.
Good. Absolutely good.
You are coping and seething.
Yeah.
And it's so annoying, especially in my area, where we are really having to fight against reform.
Why is that? Did you do something bad that means that no one wants to vote for you? Are you driving people away from your party towards reform? Crazy.
You know, the way that the Greens act here does not help us at all if you want to keep...
It's not Hitler getting there, it's Nigel Quisling. They're selling us to the Burger Reich. Honestly, that's the perfect description. It's not America anymore, it's the Burger Reich. Yeah, that's exactly what America is, yes. The Burger Reich. I was watching a little bit of the congressional hearing on the ICE today. And I didn't even realise the amount of money they've put into ICE is amazing. You know, ICE is now the most well-funded law enforcement agency ever. Ever. You know all of the money they spend on, like, tanks for the LAPD and shit? ICE gets more money than that. Absolutely fucking mental. America is the Burger Reich. Yeah. The Burger Reich? No, we'll just go with Burger. Fuck it. Anyway. It's like more than the UK military. Yeah, it literally is. It's like fucking 90 billion or something. It's fucking... I saw one of the... why do Americans do this? I suppose because it's visual, whatever. You know, they have those big printed out, like, graphs or pictures, or, like, it'll just be a tweet from somebody. And they have, like, their little bitch behind them with then standing there with the sign. Which they don't do. In Britain, you don't have people. The props aren't really allowed. It's not a thing. But in America, they're very big on the props. Anyway, and it was like a bar graph of the amount that ICE have gotten year on year. And it's like sort of gradually increasing. And then Trump gets in and it goes right into the fucking stratosphere. Yeah, and some of the Dems voted for it. Including, of course, our friend from Pennsylvania, Strokey McStrokeface. Fucking the kid killer special. Oh, he loves it when Israel kill kids. He fucking loves it. Yeah, scratch a liberal and a fascist bleeds. And John Fetterman bleeds on the brain. Jesus Christ.
Keep them out. Does not help us at all. So... As always,
well,
let me know.
I don't want to be like a cunt, because you might not be from Britain, but the person who asked where is he from, he's got the white rose behind. That's the white rose is the symbol of Yorkshire. He's from Yorkshire. If you were asking specifically where in Yorkshire, I don't know. Choose a random place. He could be from Rotherham. He could live right next door to the guy who says Pooak. I don't know.
Of course, what you think, of course, down below. And, of course, we'll see you all next time.
Just fuck off. I can't even be bothered being nice anymore. Just go away. Right. So The Great Dictator is a fantastic film that you should all go and see. Not go and see, because it's not really being showed in cinemas. It's from the 1930s. But, Yes, it's. I mean, in a Chaplin sense, it's very old humour in a sense, but the point is, it's a takedown of Hitlerism. It's a takedown of Nazism, and in the story, the person you see there is Adenoid Hinkle, or the person that people believe is Adenoid Hinkle, the play on Adolf Hitler. And there's like a fake version of Mussolini at one point, and there's some knockabout comedy, and it's Chaplin. Anyway, but that's not actually Adenoid Hinkle. What happens is that Hinkle gets replaced accidentally with a Jewish barber who looks exactly like him, with the mustache and the hair and everything. And so what you see is the Jewish barber who's had enough of pretending to be Adenoid Hinkle now, and gives a really passionate speech. And this is literally how the film ends. And there's a reason that America kicked him out of the country eventually, because he was too right. His riz was too strong. His chadness was too powerful. Stop it, Charlie. They'll kill you.
I'm sorry, but I don't want to be an emperor. That's not my business. I don't want to rule or conquer anyone. I should like to help everyone if possible. Jew, Gentile, black man, white. We all want to help one another. Human beings are like that. We want to live by each other's happiness, not by each other's misery. We don't want to hate and despise one another. In this world, there's room for everyone, and the good earth is rich and can provide for everyone the way of life.
That's the bit that really killed his career, was the earth is rich, it can provide for everyone. They didn't mind so much the anti-fascist rhetoric, because Hitler was like a bad dude. It was one of the few fascist governments that the American government have ever fought against, rather than arming. Just saying. But it was the bit about like how we should look after each other. No one needs to go hungry. That's the bit that got him earmarked. By the way, earmarked, of course, by noted senator from Wisconsin, a point I like to make to Christie very often, Joseph McCarthy. Interesting little fact for you. Not only was he an anti-communist, you know one of the last things he ever did in office, before he died, lol. Can we get some lols in chat for Joseph McCarthy being dead, please? Splash. He got the sentences of the murderers at Malmedy reduced. So, for those who don't know, Malmedy was a very small village in Belgium. Towards the end of the Second World War, the Allies land on the beaches of Normandy and then drive into France and into Belgium and Holland and Germany and free lots of people. Yay. Whilst in Belgium, the little village of Malmedy, a detachment of US military personnel got detached from their main column and surrounded by Germans, and they were taken by a group of people led by Joachim Pfeiffer, who was the SS officer, and their group, and were murdered, slaughtered. I forget the exact number, but it was dozens of US personnel were taken prisoner and then killed. They weren't spies, they were in US uniform, announced themselves, gave name, rank and serial number, as you're supposed to do under the rules of war, and were then murdered. Not killed, not victims of war, not collateral damage, murdered. Including having bayonets driven through their eyeballs. Hopefully whilst they were dead, but we don't know. Anyway, after the war, Joachim Pfeiffer and several of the people who were involved in the Malmedy massacre were prosecuted. And Senator McCarthy made strenuous efforts to ensure that none of them received the death penalty for their murder of dozens of American service personnel. Their sentences were commuted to variously, I think something like 20 to 4 years in prison instead of being given potentially the death penalty because of Senator McCarthy. So I'm just going to put it out there now. Joseph McCarthy was a fucking Nazi. He was a fascist. Surprising how many anti-communists are, isn't it? Just saying. And yes, Piper was eventually found and killed in France in the 80s. We don't know exactly who by, I believe, but he was murdered in turn. Albeit he got to live another, 4 decades longer than he should have, because he should have been executed. In fact, I'll put it this way, I think thousands more people should have been executed. If you had anything to do with the Holocaust, you should have been executed. If you were any of the leading generals, you should have been executed. If you were any member of the German government, you should have been executed. Including Hess. I don't care if he was mad. I don't care if he gave good information to the British after his flight to Britain. I don't give a fuck what. He was more than happy to do the evil whilst he was still there. He should have been executed. Ironically, of course, much like his leader, he eventually executed himself via hanging. Albeit in the 1980s. Technically, his life and my life overlapped. Very briefly, like 2 months or something, but what can you do? And Joachim Piper and his men should have been executed in turn. I don't care about if you're following orders. If you have prisoners of war and you kill them, tough shit.
Life can be free and beautiful.
Ladies and gentlemen,
but
we
we have...
got 'em. Victory is ours!
Thank you for joining. Welcome to the Kevolution, Harry. But I did need to pause because I don't want this interrupted.
lost the way. Greed has poisoned men's souls.
That's honestly, that's the sentence that, like, twisted my melon, so to speak. When I first heard this speech, or this bit of audio, visual, whatever. Greed has poisoned men's souls. It's such a perfect description of, well, what we've been talking about. The establishment. If you're powerful people, you're evil. You do evil things to become powerful, and then you do more evil things because you're even more corrupted by the corruption that you did to become powerful in the first place. Greed has poisoned men's souls. I don't think a truer sentence has ever been spoken. I'm against the death penalty. Well, so am I, generally speaking. And even if we had killed Nazis, every Nazi on the planet, their ideology will return. Well, exactly, right? No, don't get me wrong. I don't think executing every Nazi would have stopped fascism completely, because you can't. Every generation has to fight that fight, as we are ourselves seeing. But I think, A, it would have forestalled its re-emergence. I don't think we'd be seeing the kind of fascist entrenchment that we're currently seeing now. It would have forestalled it by several decades, I think. And it would have just been correct. Because again, I'm personally against the death penalty. Like, if that happened now, I wouldn't be saying hang them. I'd be saying they get in prison forever. Although, actually, would I? I don't know. Look, it's easy for us to say now we should just imprison these people. But I've never had a bomb fall on my house. I don't know anybody who's been killed in a war. I haven't seen cities laid waste. I haven't had to live up to the fact that skeletons are walking around in my continent. Mountains of corpses. Oceans of blood being spilled. I haven't had to live with this. I haven't had to live with the idea of a Nazi army 23 miles away from my nation preparing to invade it any moment. I haven't had to live with this. So I'm from a very privileged position saying maybe we should just imprison these people. But if I'd lived through it, it's very possible I'd be saying, no, fuck it, hang the cunts. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's easy for us to say in our privileged position that we're against the death penalty. But if it happened to us, would we still be saying that? I don't know, is the answer. I genuinely don't know. I don't know. In your case, you might be completely intellectually wedded to that concept and would never change that opinion regardless. And in a sense, I'd sort of like to think that about myself. I'd like to think that I was intellectually confident enough to say I would never change my opinion. But I don't know that that's true. And I think if you look deep in your own heart, you'd think that about yourself as well. Because your lived experiences do change who you are. Of course they do. Otherwise trauma wouldn't exist. Post-traumatic stress disorder would not be a thing. Of course your lived experiences affect who you are and what you think, what you believe. But regardless of even that philosophical concept, under the law as it existed then, the death penalty was a very commonly accepted practice. It was a thing to happen to the top Nazis, and I have absolutely no compunction in saying that I support that. I support the killing, the execution of all of those people who were executed. In fact, as I've said, I think it should have gone a lot further. But the ones that were executed deserve to be executed. Those who engaged in genocide and aggressive war and international crimes and war crimes and slaughter, destabilised an entire world, led to tens of millions of deaths, the bombing of civilian areas purposefully. Yeah, I'm okay with those people being killed. And at the time it was a perfectly legal response. No one had any problem. There weren't really any people speaking out saying, don't execute these people, other than, of course, other Nazis. Not that everyone who spoke out against it was a Nazi. I'm sure there were pacifist people who were against it, whatever. But it was a perfectly legal response. So when I say they should have been executed, it's not even me saying I support the death penalty. It's for the crimes they committed in the time they committed them, they should have been executed. And they weren't. Because the Cold War. The West German governments... Actually, well, I'll start with the East German government. The East German governments... Have you ever considered McCarthy was a pacifist? No, he was a fascist. Yes, the East German government's denazification was not perfect, but the West German government's denazification was almost non-existent. If you look at any of the transcripts of the denazification courts, they virtually every single time came up with the lightest sentence and the lightest classification they could. So for those who don't know, there were classification systems. So I think there were 4 main groupings. So there was like top Nazi officials in the top group, and then there was like Nazi functionaries, then there were party members, and then there was like, I think they called them fellow travellers in English. I don't know what the German for that would be. Fellow Travellenseits. Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, and so depending on which classification you were put in, it depended what happened to you. So if you were just a fellow traveller, you went through a very simple denazification process and you got all of your rights back. And if you were a party member, you went through a slightly more intrusive one, and they investigated you as to what role you had in the party. If you were a functionary, they did a real, in theory, an intrusive investigation into your role in the functions of the Nazi government and whether you committed any crimes. And if you were a top person, then there would be international tribunals for you and things. Anyway, the point being, they always gave the lowest classification they could realistically get away with, and they always gave them the lightest punishment. And even then, successive West German governments after that commuted thousands, indeed tens of thousands, of light sentences into no sentence whatsoever. They released thousands and thousands and thousands of Nazis who had been punished from captivity, or gave them their voting rights back, gave them all of their economic rights back, allowed them to travel outside of the country, which allowed even more Nazis to escape to South America before their crimes were ever truly revealed, up to and including a former Nazi Party member who became Chancellor of West Germany. The first fucking head of NATO had been a Nazi general. Actually, was he a general? He was a Nazi army officer. I don't know if he was technically a general, but he was a relatively high up officer in the Nazi army. That shouldn't ever have been allowed. Ever. Fucking disgusting.
Has barricaded...
By the way, I'm not suggesting, Miss Hyde, that you think that should have been allowed. I'm just adding to the point that I was making. But, yeah.
The world with hate, has goose-stepped us into misery and bloodshed. We have developed speed, but we have shut ourselves in. Machinery that gives abundance has left us in want. Our knowledge has made us cynical, our cleverness hard and unkind. We think too much.
Our cleverness has made us unkind. We think too much and feel too little. Fucking beauty. It's like poetry.
And feel too little. More than machinery, we need humanity. More than cleverness, we need kindness and gentleness. Without these qualities, life will be violent, and all will be lost. The aeroplane and the radio have brought us closer together. The very nature of these inventions cries out for the goodness in men, cries out for universal brotherhood, for the unity of us all. Even now, my voice is reaching millions throughout the world. Millions of despairing men, women, and little children, victims of a system that makes men torture and imprison innocent people. To those who can hear me, I say, do not despair. The misery that is now upon us is but the passing of greed, the bitterness of men who fear the way of human progress. The hate of men will pass, and dictators die, and the power they took from the people will return to the people. And so long as men die, liberty will never perish. Soldiers, don't give yourselves to brutes, men who despise you, enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, and what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men with machine minds and machine hearts. You are not machines. You are not cattle. You are men. You have the love of humanity in your hearts. You don't hate. Only the unloved hate. The unloved and the unnatural. Soldiers, don't fight for slavery. Fight for liberty. In the 17th chapter of St. Luke it is written, the kingdom of God is within man, not one man nor a group of men, but in all men, in you. You, the people, have the power to create machines, the power to create happiness. You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful, to make this life a wonderful adventure. Then in the name of democracy, let us use that power. Let us all unite. Let us fight for a new world, a decent world, that will give men a chance to work, that will give youth a future and old age a security. By the promise of these things, brutes have risen to power, but they lie. They do not fulfill that promise. They never will. Dictators free themselves, but they enslave the people. Now let us fight to fulfill that promise. Let us fight to free the world, to do away with national barriers, to do away with greed, with hate and intolerance. Let us fight for a world of reason, a world where science and progress will lead to all men's happiness. Soldiers, in the name of democracy, let us all unite!
Abso-fucking-lutely. Double salute, boom. How is No Justice going?
To medical conditions or unfortunate situations that have been...
Okay, No Justice is doing a thing. So I know where I'm raiding into, motherfuckers. This speech should form part of Kev's intro. Are you trying to get me, like, permanently fucking copyright struck? Because that's how you get me permanently copyright struck. Jesus Christ, okay. Okay, hang on one second. This could mean anything. That could mean absolutely anything. House Cup Man. This could mean anything. Okay, chat. I don't know what this means. Can anyone translate this for me? Because, look, I hope it doesn't say anything terribly illegal that you definitely shouldn't say. You shouldn't say you support this because it might be illegal. I don't know because I don't know what it says. But it could be very, very illegal to say this. So don't say it because it could be illegal. I don't know. That's a Stein in the middle. In case anyone was like, cup? Coast? What is this? What is it? But definitely don't say it because it could be illegal. Anyway, thank you 255 for... I mean, honestly, I'm so close to the edge. Fucking hell. Anyway, from House Cup man to the end of this fucking stream, and possibly the end of my freedom. Who knows? Right. Yeah, I'll be going into No Justice. That's where we're going into now. Okay, just fucking deal with it. She's covering something or other. I think she might mention Peter Mandelson at some point. I get that feeling she might mention it, given that it is fucking mental and funny in a sense, but also very unfunny in another sense. Okay, I'll be back probably tomorrow, possibly with Christy. That hasn't been firmed up yet, but tomorrow might be a happy hour day. We don't know. Go and say hello to No Justice MTG, and I will see you all tomorrow. Possibly. I don't know. What? Has she gone off air or something? Why isn't it letting me do it on... Is she not on Twitch? Ah, fuck it, we're going to DJ Mule then, I don't know. Fuck it. Go and say hello to DJ Mule. I'll see you all later. Toodles. Oh yeah, Free Palestine and all that shit. Hang on. Wow, 10 seconds. Fuck. Free Palestine, Free Venezuela, Free Cuba, Free... Who else are America attacking? Everywhere. Free everywhere. Fuck me. Free Britain. Jesus Christ. Right. Stay beautiful. No pass around.
That's so good.